Hello, 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 everybody. I am All right, I'm still learning about Facebook, guys, and how to do this stuff. I'm trying to share my live right now, but I'm about to abandon it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I don't know how to do it. All right, I don't know how to share the video, so I'm gonna have to reach out to one of my paparazzi friends and ask them all of their tips and tricks, right? So, okay, happy Wednesday. First, I hope everybody is staying cool. It's like really sticky in my house. It's really sticky here in northeastern PA. So I hope you're staying cool. I hope you're having a happy Wednesday, a good Wednesday. It's time for my Wednesday live show now. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the topic of catabolic energy and the benefits that we have around that. Okay, so let's start with the definition of catabolic energy, right? Because when we think catabolic energy, our brains tend to flag off the word bad. So catabolic energy is what? It's destructive, it's draining, it's often associated with stress, and we know that stress is scientifically proven to be bad for us, right? So we automatically think bad when we think about experiencing any emotions that are within that realm of energy, right? So things like crying because we feel sad, or perhaps anger, if we experience explosive anger, or frustration, if we experience, anger in a more passive way where we're tolerating and stuffing it down. It's normal to label those kind of things as bad because they're not associated with a sense of joy, right? So if they're not associated with a sense of joy, how could they possibly be good? And that's what I want to talk about today. There's a bunch of things that we can take from these experiences when we have them. Hello, Donna. I'm starting to be able to work all of this. I can see comments now, slowly getting there. Just bear with me, guys. So anyhow, with catabolic energy, the first purpose that it serves is that it serves as a release, right? So this is why you'll hear people say things like, oh, you need a good cry, or I had a good cry. You'll hear people, I don't know, like you might hear guys joke around about going to break some stuff, if somebody's having a bad day, or what have you. So we experience this catabolic energy, right, through different types of emotions. We all experience them differently, or it differently, and it serves as a release. That's the number one thing. Once we have that release, we then have the ability to, we have all of that energy out of us, and we start to experience more of that anabolic energy. We can become more productive. We can, continue to move forward and do the things that we want to do. So after the release happens, what is it that we get from this catabolic energy? What can we take away from it? And that's where the major benefit comes in, guys. You are experiencing these bad things and labeling them as bad, and then we're just kind of like, leaving it there and dealing with it and not addressing it. And if we use these experiences as flags, so to speak, then we have the opportunity to, say, hey, what's actually going on? And that's where this is all coming in. You guys have heard me say 1,000 times, and you'll hear me say it 1,000 times more. Thought equals emotion, which equals action. And what kind of tends to happen is that we develop unconscious patterns, right? So we get angry, and then we think to ourselves, okay, well, that's just, what I do, whatever, and then we don't ever address it. But then we continue to deal with that anger on a regular basis, which isn't healthy for us, right? So the big benefit here is, using it as a flag, and then looking at it and saying, well, what can I learn from that experience? We have a great foundation principle at IPEC that says, every opportunity is every experience is an opportunity for growth, right? So this is a perfect example of that. We are experiencing all of this, and we're saying, okay, well, how can I grow from this experience? Like, I just exploded on a family member, and now I feel really bad about it. And how could this possibly be good in any way? Well, the way that it is good for us is that we now have the opportunity to turn inward and say, okay, what values we're being pressed against, right? We get to learn about our values. We get to learn maybe that we are, if we are experiencing that passive frustration type of anger, we're learning that, we need to have some boundaries in place, right? Maybe we're sweeping things under the rug too much, or maybe you're somebody that's out there and you're doing for other people, and, you're the volunteer, and, you are, a member at, the church. So you volunteer there, and you volunteer for extra work at work to make other people's lives easier. And you're running around for your kids all the time and your spouse, and you're just, all over the place. Right. And at the end of the day, you're drained and you're frustrated because that's all you wanted to do was sit down and read a book or take a bath or do whatever. And you just don't have time to do that because now you're just exhausted. Right. So we have that frustration that's sitting there. And what happens is we keep stuffing this down, and then it comes out in an explosive manner. So when that explosion happens, we really need to say, like, hey, what's going on? What do I need to address? Where do I need a boundary? What value is being pressed up against? I mean, how many of you can tell me what your top 5 values are right now? Some of us can and some of us can't. I know that when I first, started really getting into all of this stuff and learning about it, it wasn't something that I ever gave a thought to. Like, I knew I had values, I had morals, I had, these things, but I never paid any attention to what they were, or how it was tied to when I did feel anger or when I did feel sad, right? So this is really an opportunity for us to dive inside and learn a lot more about ourselves. And that's where the huge benefit comes from. Because as we do this more and more, and we learn about ourselves and we use these as flags, we're raising our consciousness, we're raising our overall awareness about ourselves, we're learning about who we are in our truth, and by doing that, that's going to lead to higher levels of self-esteem. It's going to lead to higher levels of satisfaction. You're going to experience healthy detachment. You're going to, have healthy boundaries in place, and just, get to access that sense of joy, more often, right? So this is really what the benefit is from catabolic energy. So when you do experience things like that, don't say, oh, it was bad, and then judge yourself about it. Don't say, oh, I can't believe I got that angry, or, I can't stand the fact that I cry. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm a crier. And I don't like that I cry, but every time I do find myself crying, and I know that that's, something about me. Like, if I get really angry, I have to sit down and cry. If I get really sad, I have to sit down and cry. It's how I release, right? So I respect it and I accept it as my release. And then I say, well, what can I learn from this? Like, what actually happened? Because once I address it, then I have the opportunity to build boundaries around it and, move forward and not access or fall into that catabolic place as often. So, so I think that kind of covers everything that I wanted to, point out today, my tips for today. As always, you guys know that I am available to discuss things further. I have one-on-one coaching services. If you're really interested in the energy aspect of things, I have an energy leadership index assessment where you can learn about, all of the advantages and disadvantages of the different levels of energy, how it shows up in you specifically, what your specific stress reaction is, and how it shows up in other people, right? And by being mindful and knowing all of that, we are able to empower our power of choice, right? More often. So it's a really cool thing. So, and then also I have my boundaries challenge coming up, guys. I was talking about boundaries today just a little bit, but in my challenge, it's 14 days, it's virtual. You're gonna get to learn like tons and tons of stuff. You're gonna learn about values, identify some of them, learn about saying no. You're going to, you know, see where you have boundaries and where you might need boundaries. We're gonna talk about worthiness and self-worth. Like there's so much information that we're gonna cover. It all happens in 14 days virtually. And I think that you'll get tons out of it. I'm going to be launching it very soon. Right now, there's a pre-registration at the top of my page. But yes, it's going to be going live. I want to say probably mid-August. I have early mid-August on my landing page there for you guys as a time frame, but I will have a specific date soon. And I'm really, really excited about it. And I'm really excited to have those of you that participate, you know, learn and hear what your feedback is. So, okay, if you need to contact me, want to contact me, you can do that through Messenger on social media. You can hop on my website, nicoleann.life, email me at nicole@nicoleann.life. All my contact information is on my Facebook business page and on my website. So yeah, stay cool, because like I said, it's hot and sticky, and have a great Wednesday. See you guys.